What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. It is Friday. Yay, the weekend is in sight. Before we start the book chat, if you missed it on Monday, I put up a video announcing the SPSFC finalists. That is the self-published science fiction competition. We're in the final stage. We have our 7 finalists picked from 300 books. From these 7 finalists, our winner for this year's SPSFC will be crowned on Wednesday. My April monthly wrap-up went live, so if you want to see all of the books that I read in April, a quick recap, what I thought about them, see if any of those belong on your TBR, that's in the cards for you as well. And now let's talk about this week's read, starting with the books that I finished. First on the list of completed reads is Buzzards Bowl by John Palladino. That is the second book in the Tragedy of Sedaine series, and I just loved it. Absolutely loved it. If someone had asked me before I read Buzzards Bowl, do you think John's going to be able to write more characters for you to be invested in other than the ones that survived from the first book? And I would say, I'm going to be hard pressed to find that possible. And he succeeded in spades. But there's a point of contention there between me and him, and once you read Buzzards Bowl, we can talk about that a little bit further. I was at war with myself when I finished this book because I respected what he did, the choices he made writing it. I wouldn't have it any other way because it made sense according to the characters. But on the opposite side of that, I wanted a few things to happen a little bit differently. So it's really hilarious. I was at war with myself the entire day before I could write my review because I was like, no, I want to be mad about this. But the other side of me was going, you can't be mad at what happened here. This is exactly what had to happen, what needed to happen. If anything other than this had happened, it would have been detrimental to the book and to the series. So, it was just amazing, amazing. Next, I did finish Symphony of Secrets by Brendan Slocum. While I was very intrigued with the premise, not so much the mystery, I was really enraptured by the part of the story of this fictional quintet of operas that were written for the Olympics, one for each of the different rings. I was so caught up in the beauty of that, what those operas meant, and it was completely fictional. I was like, no, this had to have been a real thing, and I went looking, and it's not. It's complete fiction. I honestly felt like I was reading a true, factual, historical account of a composer, and it just happened to be wrapped in a murder mystery. I do think his debut novel, The Violin Conspiracy, was better, but this one is still absolutely worth the read. I would say get this one from your library. I don't think it's one I would want to reread. And the next book that I finished this week is Hidden Realm by T.R. Sloth, which is the first book in the Legends of Lightning series. I was not prepared for this to be a fairy tale retelling. It's kind of a retelling, but kind of not. It's a sort of retelling of the Brothers Grimm, except much, 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 much darker. It has a bunch of fairy tale characters in it, but there's also a lot of original characters to it, and there is an original premise to it. We meet Esther, who is, I want to say she's late 20s. She's a librarian. She practically lives in near solitude with her cat. She starts getting plagued by these nightmares, and in one particular nightmare, she gets attacked, she wakes up, she still has the markings, and she starts looking into that. She starts looking for some answers, which leads to her entering into another realm. The writing style in me didn't get along that well, and I do wish the characters had more depth and descriptions to them. I didn't really connect with the characters. It was all plot for me. So I've already got book 2 lined up for next month. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with that plot and just seeing how the writing style may evolve. I think this was the author's debut novel, so I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen with the writing style in the sophomore novel. So I'll be checking in with you guys next month on that one. That takes care of all that I've finished. What am I reading? I am in the process of reading The Fires of Heaven, and I am flying through this one. I'm already about a quarter of the way through. This is the meat of the series for me. Robert Jordan really got into the type of character development that I revel in. The intrigue has ramped up, the stakes are getting higher. This is the point in the series where everything is just a fire for me. The other thing that I am working on is I started Return to the Black Gate by Joseph Sale. This is the 6th and final book in the series, Book of Thrice Dead. I read the first chapter last night. It was late, so I didn't get to read more than that. I wanted to, but my eyes just wouldn't stay open. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see how this is gonna end. I expect to have this one finished by the time I check in with y'all next week. Let's see, what else am I working on? Oh, I started a new short story collection. It came out last month, I believe, and it's called They Hide by Francesca Maria. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, Facebook, any of those things, I do post little mini reviews each day as I finish the story. The theme of this collection is the nature of fear, control, powerlessness, and the 4 short stories I've read so far have really tied into those themes really well. Really been enjoying the collection so far. If you want to check in and see what I think about each of those stories, check out any of the socials I mentioned and you can see those little check-ins there, and I'll have that review up as soon as I finish that collection as well. Only other thing that I am currently reading, though this is a little bit of an unusual way to read a book, but I'm loving it. It's called Dracula Daily. So you're getting the Dracula novel in an email. For those of you who haven't read Dracula, it is presented in the format of a journal. When you begin this book, you open up and you're reading Jonathan Harker's journal. The first journal entry is May the 3rd. So on May the 3rd, you get an email from Dracula Daily and you get the May 3rd entry out of Jonathan's journal. The next day, May the 4th, you get his May 4th entry. So the entries line up with the date, and I believe it goes May to November. So if you do want to sign up, I'll put that information in the description box below. I wasn't sure how I was gonna like it, but I really dig it. And that will take care of everything that I'm currently reading. What am I gonna read next? This is my patron pick for the month of May. I'm gonna vlog it. I'm gonna attempt to vlog it rather for my patrons. We're gonna try and teach me how to vlog these books. I am so one-track minded that I crack the book open and I'll sit and just read and completely forget, oh, I should do a check-in and talk about what I think so far, or just do reactions, and I get focused on my book and completely forget about it, and then next thing you know, I have binged the book and I've done nothing. So I'm gonna give it a try and see if I can't learn how to do those better and make them interesting. Since it's just for my patrons, they'll be fine with me trying different things and seeing what works and what doesn't, and just being relaxed about it. That's what I think is going to make it be easier doing it this way for them, because I know they're not gonna mind if I screw a bunch of stuff up before I figure it out. That is my week of reading. I would love to hear about yours down in the comments below. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. And for those of you who are mamas, happy Mother's Day this weekend. I hope you're able to celebrate with your mom. And if your mom is no longer with us, just remember she is celebrating in glory with you on this Sunday. So all of y'all take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you on Monday.